Now, guys, I have seen a lot of political mistakes, but this one was a kick in the face. I don't know who is controlling ODM. I don't know who are the people making decisions in ODM. But I do think that it is time they should sit down and talk. Because what they are doing is they're destroying a party that has been there for more than 20 years. Now, I want to know, before even the show starts, I want to know something. What is your view about the wrangles in ODM? I want to see your comments right now. Tell me, what is your view about the wrangles in ODM? Because what we have seen for the past 1 week is just something that shouldn't have happened. And in fact, it is going to fracture ODM. It is going to make it a very weak party, if not a party that is not going to survive beyond 2027. Now, there has been a lot of hype in ODM since the death of Raila Odinga. And I do feel that this thing is killing our party. I have been a long time member of the ODM party. And whatever I am seeing in the party, guys, I don't know what to say. Because look, this is what happened this week. On February 11th, 2026, ODM National Executive Committee, chaired by party leader Oburu Odinga, passed a resolution removing Edwin Sifuna from his position as Secretary General. The next cited concerns about discipline and leadership conduct within the party. Now, Busia Women Representative Catherine Omanyo was appointed as acting SG pending a substantive election. Now, for those who saw that press, I need you to tell me something. How do you remove Catherine? How do you remove Edwin Sifuna, and you do replace her with someone like Catherine Omayo, someone who couldn't even read what was on the paper? For those who have watched Sifuna on the morning breakfast shows, you know how this guy speeds point. You know how this guy does everything. A Secretary General of a big political party can do. What was Sifuna's mistake? He was not going to align himself with the government, or he wasn't ready to support the government, while the other fraction is ready to get into the government. So guys, what do you think about what happened the other day? What is your thought? I want to know. Give me a comment. Tell me in the comment section, because whatever happened, I'm still trying to comprehend it up to now. Because how do you remove Sifuna and put someone such as Catherine Omanyo? Catherine Omanyo is someone that I've just known the other day after the ODM brigade selected her as the Secretary General. Even though the court has halted the process pending a hearing, which this is after Sifuna took the case to court. But how do you remove someone like Sifuna and and replace him with someone who is less influential? That is why I'm asking myself, who is making the decisions at ODM? Because whatever is happening in ODM, guys, I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen this. If Raila could be alive, he could be mad at what is happening in ODM. Now, the legal challenge by Sifuna is this. Senator Sifuna immediately challenged the next decision, asserting that the removal was unlawful, unprocedural, and a violation of the ODM constitution. Sifuna framed the move as politically motivated, claiming it was retaliation for his opposition to supporting President William Ruto's second bid or re-election. Now, when Sifuna came for the press conference, he was flagged by people such as Osotsi. He was flagged by people such as Babu Owino, who wants to be the governor of Nairobi. And by the way, that is another story, because and also he was flanked by someone such as James Orengo, the senior counsel James Orengo. So when you look at the ODM party, we have a fraction. The heavyweights are on one side and the other heavyweights are on the other side. The other side is being led by Gladyswanga.Junet Mohammed, Ahmed, the governor of Mombasa. The name is kind of difficult. Now, and then there are those people who are not kind of directly linked to this process. The kinds of Wycliffe Oparanya and Joho. I've not seen them. But removing Sifuna as the Secretary General, this one was a shocker, because most of the people did know that when you do remove Sifuna, it is like you are killing ODM. How? Most of the young people have aligned themselves with Sifuna. And I do think Raila knew this. That is why he wanted Sifuna to stay there. A lot of young people do listen to Sifuna, and they are like, yeah, this is the deputy party leader we want, or the secretary general that we want. But the moment Raila died and Oburu Odinga took the reins of power, I have been seeing things that when you look at, you ask yourself, who is making decisions in ODM? Maybe you know out there. Comment. Give me a comment in the comment section. Tell me whom do you think is controlling the ODM fraction? Because there is no single way. Someone could have advised Oburu Odinga, however much Sifuna is oppositive, however much he doesn't align with what the party wants or what members of the party, some members of the party do want, such as supporting President William Ruto for the second term. You can't remove him as the Secretary General. This man, what I want to say is this. Sifuna is a brand, and Sifuna is a big brand. And removing Sifuna, that was like choosing, do you want to kill the party or do you want the party to go on? Now, there may be a lot of hype because these people want to achieve their own political interests. People such as Junet Mohammed, people such as Gladyswanga, maybe they want to achieve their own political mileage, or maybe they're sensing in 2027 they may be going home, because the kinds of Junet Mohammed and Gladyswanga are the kind of guys that Raila could say, I like these ones. I don't think if they have that luxury anymore, especially someone like Junet Mohammed. So I do think they're trying so much to work for the government so that they can be nominated in the next government structure, because they will have lost their seats. Now, let me ask this. Between which fraction do you support? Do you support Sifuna's fraction, or do you support Gladyswanga's fraction? I want to know. Tell me, which fraction do you support? Personally, I am someone who supports Sifuna because he has logic. Even though he uses bombastic words, he uses words that can anger you. He has logic. And this one is someone that the late or the former premier, Raila Amolo Odinga, trusted him with every power of running the ODM faction. And it would pay in Raila Amolo Odinga that the ODM fraction that he has left now is trying to remove someone so powerful such as Sifuna. Now, I was in the court intervention. On February 12th, 2026, the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal, PPDT, issued an order halting both the implementation of the NEC resolution and its gazettement, effectively preserving Sifuna's tenure. The tribunal scheduled a full hearing for February 26th, 2026, allowing both parties to present their arguments. This ruling is widely regarded as a temporary victory for due processes and for Sifuna camp. Guys, I may not agree with what Sifuna says all the time, but you cannot say that someone is bad by them doing something similar to what you do just because they're not on your side. What do I mean? The faction that is in broad-based is supporting the government. Sifuna is on the opposition, even though he's aligning with someone such as Gladys. But that does not warrant Edwin Sifuna being removed as the Secretary General of ODM. Now, for those who don't know, ODM is a political party that was formed on democratic basis. That is why it is called Orange Democratic Movement. The D in ODM stands for democracy. So it pains people to see that a party which claims to be democratic has decided to run itself in a tyrant way, in a dictatorial way. Now, let me ask this question. If you no longer value democracy and you're fighting people who have divergent opinions in the party, why can't you start calling yourself the Orange Dictatorship Party? Because I do think ODM has become a party that is it is either you align with some 2-3 people at the top or you are their enemy. And let me say it. These are the likes of Gladyswanga. These are the likes of Junet. I think the whole structural idea is that maybe these people do think that anyone who has divergent opinions in the party is a threat to them. Guys, I want to ask your opinion. If elections were held today, would you, and let's say you are part of the NDC, would you elect anyone or any leader who is ODM right now? I want you to give me your thought in the comment section, especially on YouTube, because I'm live on YouTube. Let me hear your comments and I want to read them out aloud. So, guys, tell me, if any member of ODM fraternity right now, any top member, someone who is holding the top seat, the likes of Gladyswanga, the likes of Junet Mohammed, the governor from Mombasa, all these people who took part, and the likes of Oburu Odinga, if they were to stand the NDC elections today, and us as members of ODM have been called upon to vote, do you think that you'll give a vote to any member of ODM right now? Because I do feel like ODM has stopped fighting, even though they're selling the idea that ODM cannot be an opposition party forever. I do feel like ODM has stopped fighting for the normal person. And people are busy, and I can say this, people are busy fighting for their own interests. And I'll say this, maybe they have sensed that 2027, they may be heading home. So the only thing that they can do right now is to look for a way out. And how do you look for a way out? Work as hard as you can so that later on you can say, I supported you. I was with you at this time, so can you give me such and such a political seat? Now, apart from Sifuna, there has been wrangles in ODM. Yesterday, the faction of the Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki, came out and said that the Deputy President's seat is not for sale. So what happened? It seems like ODM is causing chaos everywhere. What happened is this. Some of the women members or the female members of the ODM fraternity came out and said in 2027, they want the Deputy President's seat. And this did not sit well with the faction of the Mount Kenya, or a faction of the Deputy President. Rumors has it that ODM, in its discussion to run the country, it wants the Deputy President's seat. It wants to hold the second most powerful seat after the President. Now, that is the only way that they will trust the broad. Now, let us look at this. And I want us to be honest with what we want. I want to ask you, if, or do you think that the ODM fraternity should be given the Deputy President's seat? Do you think that Professor Kithure Kindiki should be stripped of his his Deputy President's seat and be given to the ODM? Why is that? Now, ODM is claiming that it has all the numbers, and it is claiming that it is the biggest and most powerful party in Kenyan politics. So the only way that they will feel they have been are given the Deputy President's seat. Now, you do remember this. ODM has been given different ministerial positions. The Ministry of Treasury, which is headed by John Mbadi, is given to ODM. The Ministry of Small Businesses and Circles, which is headed by Wycliffe Oparanya, who is also an ODM member, The Ministry of Mining was given to Joho. And lastly, the Ministry of Gender Affairs. So ODM must say that the 4 ministries are not enough. Now, it was not only given these 4 seats, it was also given parastatals and departmental positions, and a lot of people benefited. So when I do hear them claim that they need to be given the deputy president seat, then I don't know. Now, most of you know me, and you are always saying I am controversial, or maybe I love controversies. But guys, bear with me. This is what is happening. If ODM is given the deputy president seat, or if it's claiming the deputy president seat, do you think that it is looking for an excuse to get out of the broad-based government come 2027? They're looking for something that will bring some wrangle so that ODM can run alone, or it is genuinely looking for the deputy president seat. Now, those are my thoughts. I don't know. I don't know how you think. I don't know what you do feel about this. But I do feel like we can have 3 deputy presidents in a span of less than 10 years. As you can remember, the former deputy president was Gladyswanga. And in fact, Professor Kithure Kindiki was rushed into the seat at that moment. And most of the people were complaining. Now, do you think it would be fair for Professor Kithure Kindiki to be ejected out in a similar way, if not the same process, like in a similar way, but the hard way, such as the way that Rigathi Gachagua was removed from the political seat? Because look at this. Professor Kithure Kindiki has not served for more than, let's say, he has not served even for a full term. I do think it will be about 2.5 years that he have served if he finish up to 2027. So guys, the Kenyan political landscape, which is being run by ODM, is just in limbo, both internally and externally. A lot of things are happening left, right, and center. And no one wants what is happening in a political party or in politics. Do not listen to what the politician is saying. Listen to what, or watch to what they're not saying. Edwin Sifuna was asked this question during the recent press conference. He was asked, where is the certificate to ODM? And did you know what he answered? That is the Indo thing. And I think it is going to be very hard to eject Edwin Sifuna, because this is a guy who has been the Secretary General 2017 and 2022. He knows more. He knows more than you can think. He knows the ins and outs of ODM. And in fact, there's news that has just come out, and I want to read it to you, which is kind of the ODM party, to the ODM fraternity. And I have said, these are the things that are killing the ODM fraternity. I don't know what you think. I don't know what you want to say. But I need you to help me understand, because look at the things that I want to tell you about. The ODM fraternity has stooped too low that now they're doing such things. Edwin Sifuna alleges that ODM attempts to disrupt Kitengela Linda Mwananchi tour. Now, as you all know, Linda Mwananchi is a drive that has been led by the Junet and the Gladyswanga faction, which has been claiming that they're looking for numbers. For those who have seen the clips that are trending online, Dr.Oburu Odinga has claimed that they do really need numbers for them to win the election, or for them to bargain rightly. Now, what is the news? What has Edwin Sifuna alleged? Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has alleged plans to disrupt the Linda Mwananchi tour to be held in Kitengela, Kajiado County. The meeting marks the first event that Sifuna was ousted as the Orange Democratic Movement at the ACK St. Peter's Okeju Emanya Church. Sifuna claimed that ODM officials have planned to target and disrupt the rally following the opposition of the suspected ODM-UDA coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections. I mean, if we are a democratic party, ODM, and if it is a party that Raila Amolo Odinga, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, did form on democratic basis, why don't you let Edwin Sifuna do whatever he wants to do? Let him go out there. Let him talk to the people. But the moment you start fighting him, and the moment you start making him look like an enemy, and then the worst thing is you do this. You want to disrupt a meeting just because you don't want Sifuna to speak. Now, Sifuna said this. There are people used to violence politics. When you defeat them in debate, they resort to violence. Now, this is the Secretary General. This is Sifuna speaking. Yeah? Mimi ndiye Sifuna. Sasa huu ndiye Sifuna. This is the guy. Now, I want you to compare him and the one that they're purporting to, or the one that they're trying to replace him with, who is Catherine Omanyo. Look at the language that Sifuna uses. When you read the language, you do feel like, now, I have read something from a Secretary General. There are people who used to violence politics. When you defeat them in debate, they resort to violence. They have said they will disrupt any rally we hold. They had attempted to disrupt our Busia rally, and we are asking why they target us when we do not interfere with their own tours. We are not afraid of them. Kenyans, protect me and I will reciprocate, said Sifuna. And that is Sifuna, by the way. And when you say Kenyans, let me say this. It is a bit controversial. But I do think Sifuna, at the point that you have reached, or at the moment that you've reached, I think you do not need ODM. Sifuna, you have become a brand. And ODM is trying to fight you so much. ODM is trying to fight you so much that the other day I saw they had said this, that they want, that Jalango wants to be the Senate of Nairobi. I don't know what is wrong. Jalango is a one-time MP, someone who has not achieved anything as a member of parliament. In fact, most of the people purported that Jalango was working for the executive because he was among the first members of ODM to join the government after they were sworn in. 2-3 weeks later, he had joined the government. And in fact, when you remember, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga did push him aside for some time before he came back. Now, when you look at the issue and you see that people who had been pushed away by old Raila's ODM coming back and now they seem to be the real ODM, then you can see some kind of betrayal in this. I don't know who is betraying who, but when you look at it, you will realize something. Someone is playing a dirty game, and someone is benefiting from all this. Purportedly or allegedly, there were rumors about some people, and the rumors were asked and questions were asked. How do you purport that you are the best friend to Raila Amolo Odinga, but when he died, you did not even make time for you to go and pick his body from India? All of a sudden, you became busy. Those are questions that have been asked everywhere, and everyone wants to know the answers. Other questions that have been asked. People claim that if it were not for some people, ODM or Azimio could have won the 2022 elections money. This denied ODM the chance to win.